Good evening and welcome to another Cheyenne Symphony Orchestra Virtuoso. Today I'm joined by two of our wonderful violinists, Pepper and Kina Ono. Welcome.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah. And Autumn and Kina, you guys are roommates. Tell us a little bit about where you live and all the different musical activities you're involved in.
Well, we live in Boulder right now, and we think we started living together in April because we were like, well, if we're going to be
closer
quarantining, we might as well be quarantining with each other.
Right.
And this is my rabbit Hubble, and Kina is like co-parent for Hubble, and I've had Hubble for about 4 years.
Wow.
As far as, or do you want musical activities? I think Cheyenne
Were
Symphony
you
is most of it.
were you both students at UC Boulder?
Oh yeah, I graduated in 2019.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm a current master's student at UC Boulder.
Yeah, and I
Wonderful.
got my master. I finished my master's last year. So, but we overlapped with. I used to live with 3 other violinists that were all still at CU, and that's how I met Kina.
Oh, nice. I'm sorry I said UC. That was the Californian in me misspeaking. I should get used to saying CU Boulder. Yeah. Well, that's so cool. So where are you both from? Or originally, where did you grow up? Or maybe you're from the Front Range area. I don't even know.
Jungle Fist.
Sure.
Yeah, of
So
course.
I'm from Rochester, Minnesota.
Oh, nice.
I grew up there. Yep, I grew up there, and then I did my undergrad in Minneapolis at University of Minnesota.
I went there for my graduate school. So we're both Golden Gophers. Yes. I got my master's and doctorate in conducting there. Yeah, that's funny. Who did you study with the University of Minnesota?
I studied with Professor Sally O'Reilly.
Of course. She's wonderful.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
that's so cool. And growing up in Rochester, were you involved in a lot of different, and there's so much music going on in that area. Um,
Yeah, absolutely. I was raised on the Suzuki Strings program, and then I was also involved in SEMIO, the Southeastern Minnesota Youth Orchestras,
oh,
growing up.
nice.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Cool. How about you, Autumn? Where are you from?
I'm from a very, very small town in Arizona outside of Tucson. So I usually say I'm from Tucson because no one's ever heard of Stafford. Um,
Oh,
and
cool.
yeah, then I started school at the University of Arizona and I studied with Mark Rush. And then he got, I don't know what you say, he got a new job at DU. And so I followed him up here to Denver and I liked Colorado a lot. So I stayed here, went to CU and I find it hard to leave Colorado. So I'm just kind of yeah, I like it here a lot. So
Well, it's
been
very lucky for us at the Cheyenne Symphony that you both relocated. It's wonderful having you in in the orchestra. And it's great to get to know you guys better because you're still relatively new members of the Cheyenne Symphony.
this is
And yeah, so do you often play together, like duets, or is your performance for our virtual virtuoso kind of a rarity in terms of that?
We played together a few times
yeah,
this summer. Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
I put together a nursing home concert because I was like with all of our concerts being canceled and COVID, I felt nursing homes were kind of hard hit
Yeah.
as far as their entertainment and getting performances. So I we when it was still warm and we played outside in somewhere in Broomfield and I played viola actually. I played Dvorak Terzetto. We had another friend
Oh, nice.
one. And sometimes we sight read together when we both have time.
We played like in your students' how at your student's
Oh, that's
house, and
right.
then we also played at your uncle's place.
That's true. I
Alan
have
was great at finding places to
yeah,
play music
I have a
when it's
pretty
COVID.
yeah, I have a pretty good studio, and Akina actually plays piano a little bit too, and she accompanied one of my students' book one Suzuki graduation recital. um, yeah, yeah. So we've
That's
actually
great.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's been good.
Wonderful. How did you do the nursing home concert? Was it just like a thing where they tuned in over the internet or?
I was actually outside, and the nursing home kind of wraps around this courtyard area, and so we were in the middle, and we were like we had a tent because it was sunny and warm, um, and I guess they could hear us.
Yeah, some of the residents were listening from their balconies, and then some of them kind of walked out into the lawn, but we couldn't
Yeah.
really go inside the building or get really close.
Mm-hmm.
But they were
Oh,
very nice.
wonderful.
And,
Yeah, I bet that was really appreciated. It's wonderful that you did that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's so neat.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about what you're going to play for us.
So we're gonna play Mozart. It's a violin duet, but it's a transcription of a violin sonata from Sonata Number 17 in C major, and on IMSLP, there's a lot of violin duets on there, of course, but this is from a set of 3 volumes. The first volume is all violin sonata transcriptions. The transcription is actually from 1800, so it's been around for a while. Um, yeah, I think the Mozart is popular enough, of course, to have everyone want to play in every medium, I guess. But there's 3 movements: Allegro vivace, Andante sostenuto, and a rondo, Allegro rondo. And yeah, I've had a lot of violin duets around here, so we were just like, let's do this one. um,
You can't go wrong with Mozart, even in transcription.
mm-hmm.
So how does it work in terms of the original violin line? Does it pass back and forth between the two parts in a nice way that you kind of get to share that? And then is the other part that's not playing the original violin part at that moment doing trying to do like chords with like multiple stops sometimes, or is it no?
It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. It's mostly like I'm playing violin too, and Kina's playing first violin. And when I was first looking at it, I was like, oh, I'll probably be most of the piano part, and Kina will probably be the violin part. But I actually start with a lot of the violin themes, um, and it's passed a lot back and forth. So I think the parts are pretty equal violin piano mixtures, and it's mostly just like Alberti based stuff. What the piano is doing anyway, with um, there's not a lot of there's not a lot of chords actually. It's pretty violinistic. I
no,
think.
yeah,
Both
I think
parts.
the original part was written that way. The original sonata was written um, that way, so they're
It's nice.
using
It's
it.
a
Yeah.
good transcript.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a nice piece to transcribe for 2 violins, I
Right,
guess.
right.
It
It's
works
still
really
a
well.
There,
little challenging. Some of it is more pianistic, I think, and doesn't lie super well on the violin, but
Yeah.
it's fun.
well,
It's
you're
good.
absolutely right that so much of Mozart's, I mean, the original piano parts for those sonatas, they have such clarity. It's not very thick. And like you said, Alberti bass lines are kind of the norm for a lot of that. So I could see how the transcription would be really effective. That's so cool.
Yeah, and it's great to have these duets. I mean, there are 12 transcriptions of different duets. It's good to have it in your pocket for busking or
Yeah,
little nursing home gigs or whatever. And they sound good, for like a performance like this. So even a regular concert. Yeah.
wonderful. I'm just so intrigued by Hubble.
Oh,
I had some rabbits growing up when I grew up as a kid, and we always had to sort of keep them. She's so cute. We always had to keep them, in cages and just take them out at times. But I love the fact that he's just sort of comfortable there. I hate to ask this, but is he potty trained or something? Is he?
Yeah, well, he was more like a cat in my experience because I just brought him home and he did have some going to the bathroom problems, but then he figured it out and he just goes in a litter box. Um,
Amazing.
yeah, but I grew up with rabbits actually. So I've had rabbits basically all my life, so I think that's how I became a rabbit person. But I'm just gonna keep
Wonderful.
one. I was thinking about getting another one, but I think that'll spiral into many more. So
Yeah, rabbits are famous for that. Yeah. Oh, that's so great. Nice. And is there anything else that you guys want to share, either about your background or about the Mozart sonata?
well,
Is Mo- yeah.
I wanted to say I'm very grateful for Cheyenne Symphony for making it possible to play music right now because it's um, one of the very few orchestras that I'm actually playing with, and I think Kina's also. And with it's just so hard to stay motivated to practice when there's not that much music to learn for me anyway. Because I'm not in school. Kina's plenty busy and learning rep all the time, but I really appreciate Cheyenne figuring it out for us musicians. Because I look forward to it every month, you know. Yeah, and when I after I graduated, I took all the auditions for the regional orchestras, and it was fun to drive around. You know, every weekend you're booked somewhere else.
Yeah.
So now it's like, yay, there's Cheyenne still. So that's like the highlight of my month when it happened. So I want to say thank you for everyone making that possible.
Oh, I totally agree, and I wish I could thank all the people too, and I guess we can't thank them enough. It's not just um, you know something that provides some income for players, but it's also something that we love so dearly too. So yeah, it is just wonderful that the civic center staff, the staff of the orchestra, the board of the orchestra, even the Wyoming like public health boards and everything like that. You know, it seems like there are a lot of people we should be thankful to, grateful to. But yeah, I'm so glad you said that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this has been a really fun series, this virtual virtuoso. I think a lot of our regular patrons are really getting a kick out of getting to know our players more and more of their personalities and things like that.
Mhm.
Are speaking of which, before we just turn it over to the performance, is there anything else that you guys want to share about your background or your hobbies or any other kind of funny stories, or how did you know that you wanted to pursue violin, and like was there some experience maybe in high school or something like that that really got you hooked, or anything like either of you would like to share?
Do you have anything off the top of your head right now? Let's see.
Um, Actually, like my parents didn't want me to pursue a degree in music at all, because they think it's unpredictable and unstable, and they didn't think I could make it. But I went to college undecided, and all I ever did was play an orchestra and practice. And I'm like, I can't possibly think of anything else to do with my life. And I'm really glad that I have a really good scholarship at CU, and I'm able to like freelance and play for people, and they want to hear it. And to be able to share it with an audience still in hard times like these is really special. And it was worth being a really stubborn kid and not doing what my parents said.
I know. Yeah. I think all of us musicians have a similar, I mean, many of us do, maybe not all of us, but my parents had a similar kind of concern with me too, It's like of all the fields you could go into, there's so many unknowns, and stuff from a just sort of, like security standpoint and stuff like that. But it's so hard once you get that bug and you just love it. It's hard to imagine not doing it. Yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
good for you, Kina. I like that. That's good. Hopefully your parents have come around.
I think they have, or they've given up a little bit, but it's okay.
Right. And Autumn, what was it like for you? Was that town you grew up in a pretty small town? Did you go into Tucson itself for like youth orchestra kinds of opportunities, or was there something right there?
Yeah. So yeah, it was super small. We had Eastern Arizona College, the community college there that had an orchestra and a music program. And so I took violin lessons for a long time from the one Suzuki teacher in town. And then I started taking lessons from the strings professor at Eastern Arizona College. There wasn't violin, viola, cello, it was just strings professor. And then I started, I didn't, yeah, so um, I didn't know about youth orchestras because small town, just I didn't really have a lot of exposure to different things. And then I was getting ready for college, and that's when I met Mark Rush at a summer festival, a very small summer festival camp in Tucson. And then I was like, oh, maybe I should start taking lessons from him. And that's when I started making the drive 2 hours back and forth, like monthly lessons or something. And I always just loved practicing and loved violin so much. And I was like, well, I guess I should just do music in college because then I will have more time to practice. I was like, I don't think I'll have enough time to practice if I do anything else. That was always my motivation. It's just, I need time to practice. So I guess I have to do violin because I just love practicing.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, and my teacher just always would assume that I was studying music and everything. I was like, well, I'm undecided. I don't know if I want to do this. And so I actually declared a biochemistry major at one point. I remember going in and being like, where am I? What is this? I don't even know anything about this. And then so I saw my transcript and I was like, what am I doing? That doesn't feel right for me. And I feel at home in the music building with all the music majors, so I should just do music. And my parents, they, growing up in a small town, limited resources financially and just in general. So my grandfather paid for all of my lessons and all of my instruments.
Oh, wonderful.
So I'm grateful for him, and scholarships along the way just made it possible. So before I knew it, I was done with school, and I don't think I'm going back to school. But it's like, I guess I'm doing violin. It just kind of like kept happening because, yeah, it's just something I love to do. So it's kind of a no-brainer, I guess.
Yeah, that's great. I love to hear how you really enjoyed practicing because even for many of us musicians who've gone into it, there was a period where it was hard to get to practice. When we were in our teens and stuff like that. And you must have had a really good teacher who instilled that, or maybe it was just something that you brought to it that you love to practice even at a younger age.
Yeah,
Before college even.
right. I think it's a combination of my teachers always. They're all very passionate and they all love music and violin so much. And I think I also did, like, on my own. So it was like always a good match. And I have a very problem solving, perfectionistic attitude. And I also had some competition. There was one girl who was like always way ahead of me, and I was like, oh, she's practicing, I better practice too. And I'd always ask her what book she's in, and so there's a little bit of that too to keep me going.
Yeah, I can relate to all those stories. That's great. Yeah, in fact, I remember when I first started my undergrad, I was, an undecided, and said that I would maybe be a comparative literature major. It's just funny. I did end up majoring in music. It was like your story, Autumn, where it's
Yeah.
like I feel so comfortable in the music building, and I don't know what. I did like literature and different languages and things like that, but it's
I'm
yeah.
so glad you changed your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Lucky for us that you
Yeah.
went into
Oh,
it.
thanks. Thank you. Well, this has been such a fun conversation. So, anything else you want to share before we head into the Mozart?
Um, no, I guess not.
Yeah,
Well,
I think we're
currently we are in our apartment in Boulder, and we will be recording at a distillery in Boulder called Deviate. So it's
Oh,
going to be
cool.
nice,
to
pretty background, nice acoustics. So that's where we'll be pretty soon in the video. So
That's fantastic. I can't wait to see it. Oh my goodness, how cool. Nice. All right. So then we're just going to turn it over to the performance. And you said it was Sonata number 17,
17. Yep.
in C
D
major. Yep.
major by Mozart. And it's a transcription from 1800 for two violins instead of the original violin and piano. And please enjoy Kina Ono and Autumn Pepper. to you both. I'm so excited to hear it when you finished your recording and we put this out there on the internet live. And I'm grateful to both of you for being part of the Cheyenne Symphony Orchestra and sharing your talent and inviting us into your apartment and making this special performance for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, of course, to prepare something, rehearse it, record it, perform it. It's so nice to have that, even like an excuse to get out my violin, basically.
Yeah, I feel that way with my oboe sometimes, or my piano playing. It's like I want to have a performance coming up so that I can make sure it happens. These days especially. So, well, it's wonderful. I hope that we get to have you in the Cheyenne Symphony Orchestra for years to come. And I know that our patrons and other fellow musicians will be really enjoying getting to know you better through this. And yeah, stay healthy and hopefully we'll see you both at the holiday concert coming up.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'll be there.
We will be there.
Wonderful. Any other things you want to share or anything else?
I don't think so. Just looking forward to seeing you in December.
Yeah.
I'm hoping things stay steady and then get better so that we can have more concerts.
Yeah, definitely. We don't want to have to postpone anything. We kind of keep it at bay and stay with the concerts that we have planned. And we're already planning next season. And we're hoping that we can get back to a little bit more of normal by then. So, yeah.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure. I feel so lucky to be part of the Cheyenne Symphony Orchestra, and the musicians really inspire me with their dedication and talent. It's wonderful, wonderful organization, wonderful orchestra, great players, and there's a really nice esprit de corps among the musicians, which is special. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And thank you to all of you who have tuned in tonight and for all these virtual virtuosos, which we're excited to be able to continue for you. And you can, of course, watch old episodes on our Facebook page, the Cheyenne Symphony Orchestra. Thank you all so much. Thank you to Autumn and Kina. And good night. Bye, Hubble. Gosh, such a cute bunny.